Did you feel frightened for a second? Hi, my name is Katrin and I am your lighthouse and I am guiding you to new beginnings. When something happens, like we hear a very hard noise or loud noise, or we sense a certain smell and we have a memory attached to that, normally, for everybody, we just shiver quickly and then it will all be fine. For some of us, though, this feeling then goes a lot deeper and we go into 3 stages of fear, and they are fight, flight, or freeze. And this is what I would like to talk to you about today. Our brain actually has different parts, and the oldest part of the brain is responsible for our survival. So in the olden days, as they say, when there was a big lion in front of you, you had all the right to be afraid, because then at that point your whole body needed to go into an alarm system in order to run really fast. So adrenaline was rising and you were ready to either fight, flight or freeze. Very good in certain circumstances. However, when a little noise or a memory, even a dream that you might be having, is triggering a really much deeper response, then most of us know that at some point we have experienced something that our brain is now going back into experiencing. So how does that work? Your limbic system, basically, that is responsible for survival, is reacting to a certain trigger. Your brain cannot distinguish whether anything is happening right this very moment, like when I did this bang, or whether it is a memory, something that you experienced in the past. I would like to give you an example. I have experienced abuse when I was very little as a child, and that affected me for most of my life. Even when I went from Germany to New Zealand, which is kind of the furthest way you can go, I would still lie in bed, hear a certain noise in the stairs, like this cracking of wood, and immediately that would trigger that part of the brain of myself that then went into survival. And I usually would freeze. I would lie in bed, I couldn't move, I would be holding my breath because I was reminded of that memory. This is something we can change, and I have changed it. It is something we need to work through directly in combination between our subconscious mind and our brain. Whatever is imprinted in that brain can be changed. So the memory that your brain is still holding, that's another part that I would like to explain. Our brains actually are not really keen to learn more and more and more information from our experiences that we have on a daily basis. So what happens is, if you are going to your daily stuff and suddenly you hear one of those cracks, or you have a certain scent that reminds you of something, your brain is not going, oh, I hear a noise, that noise is from my children just coming up the hallway, or this smell, somebody is smoking a cigarette. No, your brain is going immediately, I know what that is, and goes back to the old memory it is holding, and then straight away is going into fight, flight, or freeze. That depends again on another part of your brain. In order to teach your brain or reteach your brain to look at everything with new eyes and consciously really evaluate any situation, you need to have a tool that makes you aware this is what is happening, and B, gives you an idea how to, in that moment, immediately can release fear, for example, so that you then, after you experience this, can with logic and with proper thinking change the memory in your brain. Because when we are in fear, and this is why it's so important that we are aware when we are in that moment, we cannot think normal thoughts. We cannot see solutions. We cannot communicate in ways that, like without blame or without anger. We can only react. So I give you 3 very easy things everybody can do when you feel you are going into fear. Mainly to now interrupt the connection from your brain to your body. So let's say, bang, you are triggered and you are in that fear state. The easiest way you always can do is to breathe. And just briefly do this with me. You focus, even in your thoughts, either aloud or quietly, on I breathe in and I breathe out. I breathe in and I breathe out. While you are doing this, you are thinking, I breathe in and I breathe out. This is working because your brain cannot do 2 things at the same time, and you want to distract your brain in that circumstance. So the second thing you can do, and you can add this onto the breathing, you take your hands and you stroke your face gently downwards. Or you can do the same with your arms. You're doing this kind of stroke. That part is relaxing part of your limbic brain. And the third thing everybody can do, this requires a little bit more practice, is, again, the key is to distract the brain from the fear. Just spell your name backwards. Say your name out loud, CatrinJacksties, or even just the first name, Katrin, and now spell it backwards. And then you have to, like, N-R-E-No-A-T. By doing this, again, you are distracting your brain and you can relax. So these 3 things are very simple to do when you are in that moment. I would suggest you practice them beforehand when you're feeling really good, because when we are in that fight, flight or freeze, it's harder for us to be aware this is what is happening. If you would like to know how to release those triggers long term so that they don't even come up anymore, then I invite you to subscribe to my channel or to my free workshop on what I'm teaching, what I have practiced for a long time, and I'm not triggered by that squeaky floor anymore or by that smell of cigarette. If you find this video helpful, I would like to invite you to help me by sharing it with somebody you know who might benefit from it. Bye for now.